this is Thomas Valla, and welcome to Naming Conversations as part of my Understanding the Business Environment Assessment Task 3. The implementation of a consumption tax reduces both producer and consumer surplus. Dead weight loss, or the decrease of overall financial security as a result of the tax, it's the same loss of some of the initial welfare that the government receives in addition to the tax revenue. This diagram here illustrates the overall efficiency of the market as well as the financial impact of taxes on participants. The region above the market price and below the demand curve is known as the consumer surplus. The region above the supply curve and below the market price is known as producer surplus. The supply curve changes vertically upward depending on the tariffs amount. And this is because the suppliers find it more expensive to sell at the previous pricing when the tariff amount increases the cost of importing goods, if that makes sense. The taxes on consumption, in general, the demand curve slopes downwards as the tax amount increases. Consumer surplus decreases as customers pay an increased effective price. Additionally, producers' surplus decreases when producers receive lower effective prices. And then dead weight loss occurs when consumers consume less due to higher effective costs. Tariff amounts, raise the supply curve as well. Consumer surplus decreases as consumers pay more for imported goods. Producer surplus for domestic producers may increase tandem with rising import prices, potentially. Increasing competitiveness for local products. Generative AI frees up workers' time to focus on more significant and innovative strategic processes compared to the tedious, repetitive tasks that they would have to do on a production line, for example. This could lead to, develop a brand new, lucrative and fulfilling job categories for other people. Thanks to the accessibility and previously unattainable powerful AI technologies, small, medium-sized enterprises can now compete with larger companies and therefore create jobs. AI has the ability to personalize learning and training curriculums as well. With all of these improvements, we're likely to see an increase in high-quality education, and therefore that will produce a workforce that is more adaptable and knowledgeable. Additionally, lower income inequality can be reduced, and the earning potential will be increased when low-skilled workers progress to higher skilled positions. This is due because AI-enabled remote work eliminates the need for people to live in pricey, really expensive areas, and this can help in, disparation between different employees and create new opportunities. We are likely to see an increase in the demand for highly skilled workers as well, whereas the demand for the lower skilled positions may steady or even drop. We're likely to see job displacement, and that is likely to be caused by generative AI, due to the fact that they will be eligible to automate a large number of regular and low-skilled job tasks. Workers in these categories can include, production line workers, skilled, low-skilled, repetitive task workers. And, this might actually result in them losing employment due to the lack of skills necessary that get taken over by the AI. The pay gap between the highly trained and the low-skilled workers will increase as productive and useful people who can successfully use this AI technology will become increasingly in demand. AI-driven innovation could place wealth and power with a small number of individuals and major tech companies as well. This might lead to more inequality as individuals with small or medium sized businesses will not be able to afford and adapt their AI into their work environment. Supply is not likely going to keep up with the demand of the highly skilled workers. This is likely going to increase their wages, ultimately meaning that the low income earners will make it less of a wage. Artificial intelligence can increase efficiency as generative AI reduces the need for manual labor, and it can reduce manufacturing expenses by automating repetitive and complicated operations in a variety of sectors. Businesses can also increase their overall productivity by producing more goods, and it can also result in saving and being more efficient by using fewer inputs and maximizing the amount of inputs to create the product. Economic development might also see an improvement as well, just due to the fact that new markets can be created as people will have more time to focus on these markets. AI can also help with the creative, logical, and business decision tasks, so that staff can focus on the tasks that are more valuable. Lastly, it can increase investment as businesses will be more willing to invest in AI technology due to the possibility and the greater returns from it and the ultimate benefit that they will get out of it. As you can see on this graph, the supply curve shifts from S1 to S2 to the right as a result of AI's first effects. This change is a reflection of the rapid rise in productivity and the fall in production costs, which lead to more output at lower costs. And as you can see here as well, consumer and business confidence rises in response to the increased productivity and the introduction of the new products into the market. This ultimately raises aggregate demand. The change from the aggregate demand curve from AD1 to AD2 is a reflection of increased economic spending. People can then misinterpret, the challenges of such high prices and the complicated technical requirements that, apply to AI technology, especially when making it want to run successfully. The adoption of AI may be difficult for smaller businesses and medium-sized businesses as well, just due to the fact that it is such a high input cost, and it can result in unequal productivity throughout the entire economy. AI has the potential to boost productivity, but it can also push out employees in some industries. This can increase underemployment or unemployment rates. The negative social and economic effects of the displacement might outweigh the benefits of AI in terms of productivity. The short run aggregate supply curve mostly stays the same if AI does not result in the significant efficiency advantages. The short run aggregate supply curve shows that there's no obvious movement suggesting that short term production levels will remain consistent, whereas the long run aggregate supply curve stays stable in a lack of significant productivity gains. The lack of growth in the economy, the potential production indicates the inability for long-term growth as well. With the result of these two, aggregate demand does not change. So within this diagram, as you can see right here, the fat tax will further lead to the dietary consumption. It is expected that the tax will impact customers' dietary decisions, due to the fact that it's going to be more expensive. Then from the dietary consumption to the health outcomes, better dietary decisions should result in less obesity and disorders linked to food. Further from there, we've got the health outcomes to the economic growth. This means that there'll be improved health that can boost economic growth, and as lower healthcare costs will be needed and increased productivity as people will be working more due to their health. The economic growth to the fat tax to the disposable income. The tax might lower the disposable income. However, it might have a direct effect on the consumption of economic growth. Finally, the health outcomes from the healthcare expenditures. It'll lower the healthcare cost and may result in improved health outcomes, which could possibly impact the economic growth.